Good morning. Happy February to everybody. Welcome to Unstuck Kids Speak Out, episode 4. Happy to be here and hope you are well as well. In a few seconds, we're going to be joined by Benjamin, who is another inspiring child with OCD, actually teenager, I should say, with OCD. And he is going to tell us a little bit about his story and share some of the things he learned. And I see that Benjamin is here, so I'm just going to, let's hope technology works. I'm going to bring him. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Please share this out if you would.
Hello.
Feel free. Hey, Benjamin, how are you?
Good. You said you didn't mind if I played music?
No, that's fine. If it's a little loud, we might have to lower it, but that's fine.
Yeah, just tell me if it's too loud.
Sure. And everybody watching, feel free to share this out. Comments anytime. We welcome them. That's the whole point of this.
Is that
ask
good?
Questions. Yep. That's good.
Yeah, Beatles American Help album.
Very cool. Excellent. So Benjamin, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
I was hoping you might be able to kind of give everybody watching, tell a little bit about yourself and also talk about, some of your OCD and if you can remember back when when things first kind of dealt with, tell a little bit about how OCD kind of affected
Can we do this more one step because I might forget some of the stuff.
Sure.
Well, I'm Benjamin, but I'm sure they already know that because you said it like a billion times. I'm 15. And yeah, that's pretty much, and I love the Beatles.
Wow, look at all those posters. That's awesome. What's your favorite?
Yeah, and I have all
if you could only pick one Beatles song to listen to over and over, what would it be?
I don't know, Strawberry Fields Forever, but that's probably a typical answer.
No, I would probably say Yesterday's, but I'm not as big as a fan as you are.
And I have all their albums on vinyl.
Awesome.
Here they are. And it's playing.
Cool. So,
and of course, my computer is filled with Beatles pictures.
Awesome. So I'm wondering if you might be able to talk to us a little bit about, remember back when OCD was really affecting your life. Tell us a little bit about some things that affected you and some things that worried you.
Well, I was pretty much afraid. I was afraid of goose poop and shoes. Those were the two main things.
Shoes?
Yeah.
And
I couldn't wear them.
You couldn't wear shoes. So how did you get around? Did you go around with bare feet, socks, flip-flops?
Crocs.
Crocs?
I think we threw them out, though, because they're way too tight.
Yeah, well, that can happen. You're growing. And do you remember...
But only Crocs. I wouldn't wear anything else.
Nothing but Crocs. And what about, when you went into the shower? I'm just trying to get an idea of how big that was. Was that, you had to wear them in the shower or even in bed?
No. When possible, I wouldn't wear shoes. I don't wear shoes in the house normally anyway. So that really didn't make a difference. Sometimes I don't even wear socks in the house. But it was going out that I would wear them.
And what do you think, or what did you figure out that the shoes kind of related to as far as your OCD or a fear that you had?
What do you mean by that?
You were wearing shoes, you were wearing Crocs, or you were afraid of shoes for a specific reason. What do you know what it was?
They were dirty.
So you were afraid of contamination and things on the ground might get on you.
Pretty much, I guess.
And also, how did, do you remember when you first noticed that maybe, hey, something might be wrong here? Or
No, not really.
How about your family? Do you remember?
Well, I think when I was washing my hands and I couldn't stop. That was probably it.
And you were washing your hands because you thought they were dirty?
I don't remember the context, but probably that's why people wash their hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We spoke a little bit the other day about contamination OCD, and I know that you were talking about that a little bit. Do you remember how your family reacted and how your family
Well, they didn't know better, so they tried to accommodate.
what were some of the things they did?
Well, I was afraid to go into the shower, like walk to the shower. I wasn't afraid to go in the shower. I would shower like all the time, but I was afraid to walk to the shower. So they would hang up blankets around everything and on the floor so I wouldn't get dirty, because they, at the time, they didn't know, excuse me, they didn't know that wasn't helping.
So they were trying to accommodate your fear of getting sick and germs and contamination by kind of
Well, not
putting
sick,
blankets on the
just
floor.
germs. Because at the time, I don't think they knew that that was actually making it worse.
Mm. And when you did things like take a shower, did you have to take like a really long shower to make sure you were?
I can't really remember, but I would have to see how the house is. You got my room, you got my sister's and bathroom, which are across, my sister's room and the bathroom, which are across, and then you have my mom's room, which has the shower in it. So I would go to the shower, walk back, feel dirty, go to the bathroom, put water on myself, and then sit down in my chair until I felt dirty again and took another shower.
Wow. Do you know like how many showers you might have taken every single day?
No, I think the lowest was 2.
It was 2. Oh wow. Okay, so you were definitely in the shower a lot.
Sometimes I shower twice, but that's because I like miss it at night, so I have to catch up.
Right, but now you do it because you got to take a shower once a day to stay clean. You don't do it because you have this fear of something happening.
No.
And you in your kind of OCD journey, you were just saying how your family kind of accommodated a little bit with rugs and
Yeah.
Do you remember other things that you had to do or made them do?
No, not really. And so I normally wouldn't get dressed, because what's the point of getting dressed if you're just going to have to get undressed and take a shower?
So you basically like walked around in a robe all day or walked around in like
A towel.
a towel. And how did this affect things like going to school?
I wouldn't do that.
You didn't go to school?
But it was I'm pretty sure it was in the summer. No. Shoot, I can't remember. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. How about whenever...
But I wouldn't leave my room.
Oh, so you kind of like...
When go downstairs to eat. I wouldn't go to the bathroom to brush my teeth. So everything I did at my computer desk. And I watched a lot of Mickey Mouse.
You were like doing everything on
black and white ones.
Everything on your computer and anything in your room.
No, and was still Beatles. It was just, that's what I watched. I watched Mickey Mouse.
And how many years ago was this? Because you said you were 15 now. So how many years ago about was this kind of like?
Like 2015.
Okay, so just 2 years ago. Folks, if you're just joining us, this is Unstuck Kids Speak Out. I'm talking to Benjamin here. We're talking a little bit about OCD and his experiences. If you feel free to, like and heart and share this. Also, answer questions, because here's an OCD expert. He can give you his opinion, and we're happy to kind of, help along with any questions you might have. We'll do our best to answer them. So when you were going through this, did your parents uncover OCD and say, okay, we got to get Benjamin?
I can't really remember all of that, because they were probably in other rooms and I was in here.
Did they ever tell you, okay, we have to go see a therapist or we have to get you help?
I really don't remember. The only thing I really remember about is the Beatles. I don't have that great of a memory.
That's okay. And
someone says, hi, Ben, I'm Chase.
Yeah, hi, Chase. And at one point, so how, it's 2 years later, how did you end up getting help? Did you end up going to a therapist or go to a place?
Yeah. I don't know if I should say his name or not, but I'm still seeing him. I'm still doing exposures. Some people who, then I went to Rogers, and some of the people at Rogers going back down because they didn't do their exposures.
Ah. So you went
But
to
I did.
Rogers? So you went to
But I'm
Rogers?
still doing exposures, so I'm still relatively fine.
That's
I did an
great.
exposure earlier even.
Oh, yeah? What was that?
Yeah. Toilet exposure. You take your foot normally in a shoe, because I'm wearing shoes, and wipe them against the toilet, and that's the exposure.
Oh, that's great. When you went to Rogers, did they have you like write down the things that were bothering you, and like, do you remember like what some of the things they did with therapy?
They probably had me write down stuff.
Do you remember some of the exposures? Did you remember some of the exposures you did there?
Well, I walk on my bed with shoes. I don't remember much of the exposures.
Did you have to like
to be honest.
Did you have to like were you not allowed to wear your Crocs, or did they throw them out?
No, I wore them. But eventually they got me to put on shoes. I traded shoes with someone. They put on my Crocs and I put on their shoes. And that was a big deal. So I walked around and showed everybody, hey, look.
You had to wear somebody else's shoes and they had to wear yours. Wow, that's great.
Sort of.
Did you find that you and...
I had to look. Well, I also looked at pictures. It's laying around here something. Where is it? Where is he? Can't find it.
Like pictures of shoes?
Yeah, there's something. I can't find a shoe. I have it somewhere, but they printed out a little thing of me and a thing of John from the Beatles. And shoes, and we'd stick the shoes on them. I have John laying around my room somewhere. I was looking for him, but it's not where I thought he was, so I don't know where he is right now.
So you...
A little laminated John and a little laminated me. And there were little shoes, and you'd stick them on him.
That's really great. And
I have to find him.
That's cool. I love how that kind of leads into my next question, which was when you were kind of at Rogers going through some of this therapy, do you remember working with your therapist or thinking up fun kind of exposure for yourself to do? The shoe thing is funny.
I don't really remember much of that, but at one point, like they were like, shoot, he's getting so bad we can't do anything. So they took away all my stuff, and I had to earn it back. And at one point, they're like, you know what? I don't think we could do anything. He's going to have to stay here for a while longer. And I was like, I can't do that because then I'll miss Ringo Starr concert. So I tried as hard as I could to get better to see Ringo. I have the concert ticket. I'll show you. There it is.
That's great. If you're just listening, one of the things that you kind of one of the therapy ideas is that you kind of give kids a reward or incentive to kind of do some of the things. So this was kind of Benjamin's incentive to go see Ringo Starr. My daughter Vanessa also had earned some of the therapy that she was doing. Ben, she earned tickets to see Katy Perry. So I think sometimes the rewards are small. Like you do something and you can watch your favorite show or download a special song you like. And sometimes they're big, like that you might do if you do something really well or something being consistent. So the reward system is kind of how parents and therapists can kind of get kids to try to really focus on doing the things that they might be scared to do.
Well, with the Ringo concert, that was actually set up way in advance before I went there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something already going to happen. So I just had to get better so I could actually go. Honestly, I don't know what nanny who bought the tickets would have done with them. I don't know. Maybe my sister would have gone. I don't know.
But at some point, you realized that, oh, I
But I
really
was
have
like,
to start
they
doing
were like,
this.
you have to be there for a few more months. I was like, no, I can't let that happen. I have to see Ringo.
So it was good motivation.
Yeah, but also they would give, normal rewards. Like, if you do good, you get to go on the computer for X amount of time. That kind of thing. Here, one sec, you're just gonna have to look at the ceiling for a sec.
Okay, sure. Hey guys, if
Oh,
you're just joining, feel free to throw a comment in, like it, and heart anything you want, or share this out with your friends. We really appreciate it. This is Benjamin here. I'm Chris, producer of Unstuck,
oh,
an OCD Kids movie, and we're just kind of talking OCD, getting an idea of how Benjamin went, how OCD affected him, and how therapy helped him, and kind of what he's doing now. So we'll take any questions. Just use a comment here. So Benjamin, would you like Ben or Benjamin?
whatever, it's fine. I don't really care too much. I used to care a lot, but then I just kind of stopped caring.
Right. So when you got out of Rogers, you were able to go to the Ringo Starr concert. You just were talking
Yep.
before about continuing to do exposures. So what is
You got
something that
another
you?
comment? Yep.
Yeah.
So, Summer, hi, Benjamin. Is it hard for you to listen to other kids' OCD rituals/compulsions? My son has a hard time listening to other kids' rituals. Did it take
Yeah.
you a
So
long time to talk about them? There's the question. The answer is
yeah.
for
Do you
for
want to?
the question one. Is it hard for you to listen to others? Not really, because at Rogers, everyone was talking about their problems, so you kind of had to listen, pretty much. And did it take you a long time to talk about them? Can you kind of explain that a little more?
I think that question is about like, did it take you a long time to talk to other people about some of the things you were feeling?
Oh, let me try to remember. Um, I'm trying to remember. Shoot. I don't remember. I don't really like talking about my feelings, but I think I did talk about it.
But
But I can't remember how hard, because that was like a couple years ago.
what about when you were talking before about how you were like stuck in your room and your parents were kind of accommodating you on some things you were afraid of. At that point in your life, you probably didn't know what OCD was and if there are any other key. Like you thought maybe I'm the only kid with this.
I don't think I was thinking about that really.
But so then, what happened when your parents said, you have this thing called obsessive compulsive disorder? Did you want to learn
I
about
really
it?
don't remember that, really. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Can't really remember.
That's kind of getting me to a point I wanted to ask, which might relate to Kim's question, which is, how did you feel when you first started to meet other kids with OCD?
What do you mean by that?
Like, did it make you feel like, oh, I'm not alone here? Did it make you feel like, oh, okay, um, other kids I can help too? We're in this together.
I don't really remember. It was a couple years ago.
But there were a lot
Now
of
I'm
kids.
upset because I can't remember.
It's okay.
Well, come on. We know you're here now. What were you going to say?
Mom's in the room.
Sometimes. Now she is again.
I'm trying to help with the memory.
That's okay. How about when you were doing, I know one of the things that some of the places find really important is kind of doing therapy together. So did you help, when you were at Rogers, help other kids do some of their exposures?
I'm pretty sure I did. I can't remember 100%, but I'm pretty sure.
And other kids helped you with yours?
What?
They walked on your bed.
I think, well, my mom said they walked on the bed to help me, so.
So other kids where you almost had shoes of other kids on your bed too.
Yeah, and at first I really didn't Oh, and I got friendly with one of them. I haven't heard from him, but that's besides the point. And at first I was afraid to have a roommate,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got friendly with one of the kids, and so we decided to share a room.
Cool.
So I got from wanting to be all by myself to wanting to share a room with someone. So that doesn't have to do with OCD, but I thought I'd mention that.
Well, I think to answer the question, and also, you were feeling comfortable about. I mean, think about at one point in your life, you couldn't go. You were in your room, and here you are feeling better enough that you actually feel like you could share a room with somebody. I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really great. What are some of the things that you were talking about doing exposures now? What do you think? What are some of the things that that you continue to work on?
Well, so should I just say what exposures I have now or what?
Sure.
Like I do a rusty box exposure. I got this rusty box for free. And an exposure is to touch that. You got Clorox wipes because I hate chemicals. Poke goose poop was a thing this long, but I haven't done that recently.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new one where I have to talk about something that isn't the Beatles. This should count for today.
Yeah.
I'm talking not about the Beatles at all. Except when they're relevant.
Yes, that's fine.
I'm talking about how Ringo motivated me.
There are, there are a lot of kids out there, and my daughter was certainly one of them, who were really afraid to talk about OCD for a while. So this is, for some people, this is a big exposure. It's great.
What? Sorry.
I said, I think this is a great exposure for to talk about it, helping other kids. We had another question that says, you are inspiring somebody because some people are afraid to talk about OCD. That's what kind of I was just referencing. It can be hard for kids to even say the words OCD. One of the things we had to do initially with my daughter Vanessa was actually write the words OCD, and she had a hard time writing even that word.
It keeps getting cut off. It's so long.
That's okay. It's basically saying thank you very much for talking. Like I said, I think this can be helpful for people. Feel free to like or comment if you use those reactions. It's very helpful. And if you want to share this out to other people and keep asking questions, we really appreciate that. So Benjamin, I think it's great that you're still doing your exposures. Do you find that doing them helps keep you stronger?
Yeah, and like some of the other kids from when I was there, my mom kind of keeps in contact with them. They got bad again. But not me, because I've kept doing my exposures.
Yeah, it's really...
I'd rather not have to do them, but...
And you realize when you keep doing...
Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Exactly. And it helps keep you strong. You can't let OCD win.
You are correct. Someone just gave a heart and a like.
Yeah, that's great.
Hello to all 5 people who are watching this.
Yeah, there's don't worry about the numbers. That's it's actually there could be many more. We just I just love when I get the interaction. I think that's great, and that's the whole point of this, is to hear your story. And a lot of people will listen to this on a replay or fast forward and listen to certain points. Let me I wonder if you can have you ever heard people use the phrase, "I'm so OCD"?
Oh, yeah.
And they may not have OCD at all.
Yeah.
And how does that make you feel?
Oh, I like everything neat. Oh, I'm so OCD. Like, I don't like that.
It's hard because...
I think a lot of people could... If someone just gave a heart, I think they could relate.
So what would you... If you had something to say to somebody who uses OCD in the wrong way, what would you say to them?
Oh, real quick, someone wrote, "We don't like it either."
That's right. Thanks, David and Nicole. Appreciate it.
Sorry, I forgot the question.
When people...
What do I do?
Yeah.
Well, I say, do you actually have OCD?
So you actually would engage somebody and talk to them about, what it
Yeah.
is and what it isn't.
Yeah.
And how would you describe OCD? In your words, what is it?
It is. Shoot, this is tough. Okay. I would say it is a thing where it's different for everybody pretty much, but it is a thing where it's like phobias, phobia and irrational fear or something. It's like a bunch of phobias. Would you say that's a good
Yeah.
option?
I think there's a lot of irrationality and a lot of irrational thought that goes into
Yeah,
OCD.
very irrational.
You were
Like
mentioning
the other day, I was like, oh, I did something bad, but I didn't know what. And one of the teachers at school, well, not a teacher, but that would be overly complicated to explain in full. But they were like, no, you didn't. But I was like, I felt like I did.
does your school help you at all? Are they aware of what's going on, and do they help you and help in your therapy at all?
Yeah. Yeah, and at school I have a therapist, so.
And somebody you can talk to if you do have a worry or concern?
Yeah.
That's
Well, when she's not busy.
That's really great. I mean, one of the, you just touched on something that many people, many parents and kids don't have, which is a school that's helpful and understanding. There's a lot of schools that just aren't able to help kids in the right way, don't understand how to, and to be in a.
Well, I go to a therapeutic school, so.
It's a good environment to help you out then when you need it.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm curious if there are. I like to ask this question because kids always give different answers, and I kind of think I know what you're going to say. But are there any books, videos, or songs that helped you feel strong when you were going through therapy? Things that you like to listen to, or something, or things you like to read?
Well, pretty much anything. Listening to the Beatles, watching them obviously helped. Doctor Who, My Little Pony.
Those things kind of helped. Were they rewards, or those things that kind of made you feel strong about fighting what you worried about?
One more time, I couldn't hear you.
I said, were those things that you would earn as a rewards? Oh, that's great.
Yeah, watching. Someone wrote Chase loves Doctor Who.
That's a big one, and also I'm curious if when you were really worried about something, and maybe I would say your OCD was really high and you had a lot of anxiety and maybe scared, how did doing an exposure help you out?
Let's see if well, I don't really know how to explain it. I'm not like one of those people who does all the things about the mind. I'm not a brain doctor, someone psychiatrist. So I don't really know all the fancy stuff about it.
I still think you're an expert. I mean, I'm sure doing those things were hard.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were scared to do them. OCD makes you think things are really going to happen and be real.
Well, my mom told me that every time I did it, it was easier. So
there is certainly something to doing it over and over. And what happens, I'll get a little technical here, is that you are retraining and teaching your brain and your body how to react a different way to something that you should fear. So you're almost like teaching yourself and your brain how to
reprogramming.
Right. Exactly.
It's like your brain is the computer and OCD is the virus. And the exposures are like installing an antivirus.
And that's amazing. It's exactly, it's a fantastic insight. And I don't know if you I love take one of the things that I wanted to do with this is because involved in being with the film, we got to meet so many kids, whether they're in it or not. And to hear your insights when you've gone through it is just fantastic. Yeah, I agree, Amanda. Fantastic analogy. If you're just joining us, Daniel was just talking about how, OCD, your brain is a computer, OCD is a virus. And
Daniel?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Benjamin. And what he was saying was OCD is a computer. Your brain is a computer. OCD is that bad virus, and you have to figure out how to get it out. And that exposure and the therapy is that kind of antivirus, the patch, if you will, right? The security patch.
Yeah.
Are there any other things and analogies that you would, or things that come to mind that helped you during? Did you give your OCD a name?
No. Well, aside from OCD monster, but I think that's a normal one.
Well, I think sometimes it helps you picture what's going on with you, not something that is you. It's something different, or gives you something to fight outside of what's going on in your brain, which is great. Have you ever? Do you keep talking with any of the kids that you were in the group therapy program with?
Not really, but my mom does. With the parents.
Mm-hmm. And you were saying before that one of the things that's what was really important for you now is that you keep doing your therapy.
Yep, I went to my therapist yesterday.
My daughter goes still every other week, and it's important. You still work. New issues can come up, and you have to make sure that you're on top of things because OCD is
definitely.
OCD is a little like a whack-a-mole, right? You handle one thing.
Yeah, they pop up in another place.
Yep, or something else might worry you that you didn't expect.
Yeah, and like whack-a-mole, I think there's different colored moles, aren't there?
Yeah, in the game. What song are you putting on now, or what?
I'm putting on the American Hard Day's Night album, which is different from the UK one because it has instrumental music from the movie.
Ah.
And I felt like listening to some of that orchestra stuff.
Benjamin, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I actually did want to go back to something we talked about initially, which was how your family, initially you were talking about how they would accommodate you, put blankets on the ground and help you out in the shower. What do you think they learned, and how do they treat OCD differently now?
Well, they don't accommodate, and they say, that's OCD.
So they're aware of like what bothers you.
Yeah.
And do you make sure that you're continuing to talk to them about some things that you're feeling so that you can understand?
Yeah, like I say what's bothering me, and they say, that's OCD.
Do you know? Has you said you have a sister?
Yeah.
Did she help at all in some of your exposures?
Yeah, she was an exposure.
And how so?
Early on, not anymore. But like in the beginning, she was an exposure, so she helped out from the beginning.
So because she worried you in some way, or?
Yeah.
Is that?
So she was an exposure. So she pretty much helped out from the very beginning.
And so she had to kind of like sit next to you or walk with you?
Well, we had to touch fingers like E.T.
Ah.
No, E.T. phone home. They touched the finger. Yeah, it was like that.
Well, let's do it right now. Ready? Boom.
Except now it's not an exposure. Yeah, but now I invite her into my room. Sometimes she lays on my bed with her computer. Her computer laptop.
Yeah, and does she kind of understand why she had to do those things with you?
Yeah, I think so. Another comment. This is Jocelyn.
Hey.
Jocelyn. My OCD's name used to be Mr. Batty Bad. But then I changed it to Lord Voldemort.
Hey, Craig, how are you? Good to see you. Hi, Jocelyn. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think at one point we refer to OCD as the thing that cannot be named when Vanessa was having an issue with even saying OCD. So I can totally
And
relate to Lord Voldemort.
yeah, I don't like Harry Potter, but I know some of the characters, like Voldemort, you got no nose.
Or, whatever the big bad guy in Doctor Who is, right? That would be the...
Yeah, well, there's a lot. I mean, you have to have lots of villains if you're making a show for 50 years.
So true. And bring them back as well.
Yeah, the biggest ones are the Daleks. When I went to England over the summer and I got a Doctor Who poster of them crossing Abbey Road.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I crossed Abbey Road too.
That's great. Folks, feel free to ask any questions you have of us, myself, and Benjamin. We can try to help, give any way we can. And if you want to, interact with us and show us hearts and show us that you're liking what we're saying, I appreciate it. This is Unstuck Kids Speak Out, our 4th episode. I'm fortunate enough to have Benjamin here. You're actually not too far away, right? Are you in, is it Jersey?
Yeah, Jersey.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
That's right. I'm over here in Brooklyn, but it's fantastic to be able to talk to you and hear your insights of kind of what's going on. And do you have any words of kind of inspiration for people?
Words of wisdom.
Yeah. Hi, Patricio.
Tough through it.
It is very
hard. You
hard.
Keep going. Because if you give up, that's not good.
And I'm sure there were times when you didn't feel strong. You didn't want to fight, right?
Didn't want to what?
You didn't feel strong. You didn't want to, you didn't want to do your exposures, and you didn't want to fight.
Yeah. I don't like doing exposures, but I have to.
That's right.
I don't want to go back to Rogers.
And sometimes people ask, they think that, once I start therapy, I'm going to get better like that. And it took you a long time.
You have to work on it forever, pretty much.
Right. And it took you.
Because then you might just go back, and that's not a risk you want to take.
Yeah. Do you remember the first victory that you might have had, or the first thing that you said, "Oh, I did it. I'm really happy about it"?
Well, that was definitely putting on shoes. I was like, dude, I had to show everybody. I was like, me and the therapist walked around the campus at Rogers. I was like, look, I'm wearing shoes.
That's great, and that's a big, parents out there. That's a big kind of thing that you're looking to do. Is can your son or daughter have a little victory or a big victory where they can really understand that they have triumphed over something that is, it's been hurting them for a while. And OCD can feel like a physical and mental pain. It's very hard, and we all know what anxiety is, and it can be very tough. So when they have a victory, we all celebrate it and we like to cheer, and you could see from Ben's smile that it was a big moment. He remembers it. And he still doesn't like doing exposures despite the fact that 2 years after, going through your big part of therapy, you're still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise I might just go back down, and I don't want that.
Right. You at one point you were stuck in your room. You couldn't go to school. Now you're back in school. Now you're, going to see concerts and all these things that you probably couldn't do before.
Yeah. We got another comment from Kim. My son's first victory was watching your video clip Unstuck for 30 seconds without sound.
That's an awesome exposure. I think that's fantastic.
You were an exposure.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's an interesting development that we never even thought about with the film, that some kids might share similar issues, and the film could be part of ERP, which is fantastic. We are thrilled it's helping. And I think there are a lot of parents watching with their kids right now. Anything you want to say to the kids that might be listening?
I think I did. With what I said, you got to keep going.
It's a
can't give up.
No, absolutely not. Well, I really want to thank you for helping me out today and talking to me, sharing your story. It's a huge help to anybody out there. If you got a question, throw it here now. But we're gonna wrap this up. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I appreciate everybody joining in. And you were saying your favorite Beatles song was "Strawberry Fields."
Yeah, I also like Being for the Benefit of Mr. K from Sergeant Pepper. That's my favorite one. No, sorry, it's not. The White Album's my favorite. Turning 50 this year.
Yeah, that's right. And did you, when you were at Rogers, did they help you out with were the Beatles part of your therapy? Were the Beatles part of your team?
Well, it was going to see Ringo. That was the main thing.
That really helped. That's
wanting to go see Ringo, and I did, and I have the ticket right here. Ringo Starr and his all-star band.
Yeah, actually, we have a question from Ashley that I think is a good one that you and then I can answer, which is, what advice would you give to parents out there when they're dealing with therapy?
Make sure they go to therapy, I guess.
I mean, I think that's getting them in and getting them help is great.
Like it says, but not push. But sometimes you kind of have to push, otherwise.
Yeah, Ashley, I would.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, Ashley, you're not gonna be perfect the first time either, and therapy for getting better for your son or daughter with OCD is the same as you have to learn. And there are things that you're going to do that work and things that don't work. I think I learned, my wife learned that we can't fix, we're not the magic solution. We're not going to be like, bam, they're going to be fine. We can be cheerleaders. You can be support systems, certainly be advocates, make sure they're getting the help, the treatment, the services that they need. And you can be there to do exposures and honestly, I think it's trying to be as creative as possible. One of the most important things that we were told that really sunk in was our therapist said, the therapy, the exposures are the most important thing that you can do. They come before after school, they come before play dates, they come before homework, that is the most important thing you have to do every day. And even if it's just for 30 seconds, you try to do it. And it's all about keeping that momentum and building up the focus on that. And sometimes you have to push, sometimes you can establish a relationship. Definitely we spent a lot of time talking to our daughter about the things we were going to do, things that she had to do, things we were going to do together. And so that when it came time to do it, it was like, remember, we talked about this. So we spent 3 days talking about this thing that we're going to do. And now we're going to do it. It's not easy. As Benjamin went through it, he knows it wasn't easy to fight.
Not easy.
Yeah, fight the things he feared, and certainly not easy to see a parent because you want to just be like, fine, I want to help you out, and I want it to be fine right away. But it does take a while.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. It's not just like there's a magic button. You have to make sure the kid works hard. Sometimes you might need to push.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you'll be. I think after a while you'll be able to figure it out. And if I had the piece of advice, I would be try to read as much as you can about it. See if you can join parent groups. There's a lot of Facebook groups and a lot of online groups where you can ask questions of people. We do have OCDkidsmovie.com/OCD resources. I'll pop that in now. We have a lot of, I try to put places you can go to find like videos, vlogs, websites, books for kids and adults to join, which can help. I'm just going to throw that in here now in a comment. And Benjamin, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you have
got one more comment.
I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you.
And everyone else, thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you next month.
Okay.
Thanks, Benjamin.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We will be here next month, March, I believe March 25th will be our next one, where we're going to talk to another OCD advocate, and she is from the Nashville area. So looking forward to that. Thank you for joining us, and I appreciate it. If you have any questions, we'll keep answering them on these comments, but thank you so much for joining. Have a great weekend.